We are going live. We're live right now. It's episode 48 of the Quit Eating Animals show. Welcome. Let's see. What are we going to be talking about today? Going to give you a little burpee status, right? 3 days in January, we've been doing 329 burpees a day to represent the average pounds or average meat consumed in pounds for the average American, according to 2020 data. All right. And so we're going to be on our way. Our goal is to get to 100,000 burpees. We should get there by November 1st, or if we don't miss a single day, we're there on October 31st to get our 100,000th burpee. So that'll be pretty cool. So far 3 days in, I feel good. We've been waking up at 4:30 actually 4 in the morning. Our workout begins around 4:30 a.m. Eastern time, and 329 burpees. So it takes around, I just got under 30 minutes today. That was my best one so far out of the 3 days. So I was trying to stay around under 30 minutes. First time I was up just over 31 and some change. Second day, I think over 31. And then my third day under 30 minutes. So we're going to try to keep that pace. But, I think consistency is going to be more important than anything. And, we're only 3 days in. So it's a long journey to get to 100,000, right? And, we can't take it all at once. We can't do it all at once. Although to end the year last year, I did back-to-back 600 burpees. And so that has been the most that I've done with, so far with the form. And the form I'm talking about is prison style burpees. So, if you're not familiar with that, look up Burpee's King, and that's essentially the form that I use. And we're going to, that's to be consistent. That's to continue to be able to do these unbroken. And 329 is the number until we get to 100,000. So I'm excited for that. And so far, so good. $813 subscribers. So we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. That's fantastic news. So we'll keep posting shorts. We'll keep answering comments. And I'm still looking for my first guest on the show to bring on. I have the software to do it. Come on. We're going to ask questions. You can ask me questions, have a discussion. A lot of people look at this like arguments or debates. I'm not really trying to debate anybody. I think I'm more interested in having a discussion with you and to answer any questions, and then for me to actually ask you some questions. And so I don't think it's going to get out of hand or out of control. I don't think that's going to be. I think we'll be cool, calm, collected. I think we're able to have a conversation, and we'll see where it goes. So at least that's the intent. So again, if you're interested, please comment below. If you are interested in having a discussion, bringing on, I can email you the link. I can message you the link. I can text you the link. We'll figure out a way. I can post it in here, believe it or not. And I think that you can copy or click it and then be in, we could bring you on. So that's what I'm looking to do. I think that would be able to bring a little bit more value to a lot of you. And to see how I respond to comments or answer questions. And I think everyone that you come across or everybody that you come across is going to be different, and their style is going to be different. The way that they answer questions is going to be different. What they do workout wise is going to be different. What they eat likely will be different. And I think that that's what sets, I'm going to say, us apart. And because everybody that you come across is not eating all plants, right? Is not all vegan and is not talking about this. So I think in general, we're the minority in this world of information on YouTube. But my hope is that you come across this and you're able to see and realize like, wow, you can do this without eating any animals. And then hope it starts to make you think differently about the animals, right? And look at it from their perspective. And I think if you go into the comments and see, and I try to respond to everybody's comment at least one time. And then if it's back and forth and it's back and forth, I can't go back and forth forever. So we keep going. But I'm sure there's a lot of messages that I left, either not answered or so I think it'd be interesting to go back through and to answer the questions. And I think look at the answers, look at my responses, look at the answers, and I think it should prompt you to question yourself, right? To question, to answer them yourself. Because again, if you're not in a group or anybody, it's just you and what you read, and it's you in the video. And if this resonates, if this connects with you, I mean, that's fantastic. That is awesome. That's my hope, right? But it's also about the timing. I also know that it may not affect you, may not resonate with you right away, or only parts of it will. But I think in the end game, in the end goal, the idea is essentially to quit eating animals, right? That is the end state. That's the end goal. It's those 3 simple words that really it is super simple, right? And it is life-changing when you act and you realize and you take those 3 words to heart. All right. And so that's the intent. That's what I'm trying to do here. And I think by setting these goals and looking at it and being like, wow, this vegan, right, dad, normal person has 8 animals for 30 years, over 30 years, and then has now over 7 years not consumed any animals. And now, I mean, is looks to be healthy, looks to be mentally aware, looks to be, I'm going to say normal, looks to be an athlete. Oh, wow, has kids and also, raising them as vegans, as plant eaters, as, that don't consume any animals. And then, wow, they're athletes. And then, so what's their journey look like? That's never been done before. At least I've never experienced it because I didn't grow up. I grew up eating animals. Grew up for over 30 years, grew up eating animals. Now we're looking at, raising our kids, our children without eating any animals. So there's a lot of hate. You can look at the comments seeing that we're child abuse and, we're going to malnutrition our children and they're not going to grow properly and they're not going to function. And, all of these things that essentially are just not true. It's what we're taught. Or I think it's not even what we're taught. It's what we're kind of made to be believed to be the truth. And you listen to this, right? I know when I grow up, I mean, beef, it's what's for dinner. It was just all around. It's everywhere. And you look around and everyone else is doing it. You go to restaurants, there are no, options. There are no, and you don't learn this stuff in school. So where do you pick up this knowledge? Where do you get it from? Right? Hopefully, well, now you come across these videos, these shorts, these YouTube videos, and then you start exploring and then you start questioning. I mean, that's exactly what happened to us. Came across a documentary or some clip, right, that gave us to our first documentary, What the Health. And then we just started learning. And then I realized it opened up a whole world of information, a whole new slew of things that I've never even thought of, never learned, never cared to learn until you actually start to question these things. So there's a comment that I saw recently is just about question everything, like, take everything with, a question mindset, like, well, why? Right. And, this is kind of what they teach you in manufacturing. To get the root cause, you got to ask why, the 5 whys, and you keep digging until you get to the actual problem of where it really, really started. And I think this is what essentially you should do when it comes to, say, eating animals. Ask why. Okay. Like, we've always done it. Well, why? Well, they were in caves and they had to hunt. Okay. Well, and then now compare that to like what we're going through. People say it's survival. Like, you're not in a survival situation. Sure, you need to eat and sustain yourself, but you're not hunting for survival, right? You're trying to think that, we're living in caves still, and then using that justification to continue to do what you're doing and feel good about it. And, basically balance that cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable feeling that you get because this is happening, right? You don't believe in it. You don't want to kill animals, but yet we're eating and contributing to killing animals. So I think that that's certainly an important thing to continue to, I'm going to say, think about. All right, we're over 10 minutes here. We are, well, let's see, we talked about the burpees. We're 3 days in. I think we're at 980 some odd days of number of burpees, right? 3 times 329. Whatever that is. 300 and let's do the math. We'll find out exactly how many burpees we got. All right, 329. Can y'all see this? 329 times 3. We're at 987 burpees in January so far, and we're 3 days in. And I'll tell you, I'm going to say I'm a little optimistic, biased optimism here. But I really enjoy waking up at 4 and weirdly, I look forward to doing these. I know it's weird. May seem weird, but I look forward to doing these in the morning. And I think part of it is because like it does suck, right? It doesn't, if you think about doing it, and today I woke up, right? I was, I'm gonna say for a couple seconds there, thought about like, push through it. And then now we're 3 days in, and you always feel so much better when you push through these things. You always feel so much better, and you never regret it. Like you never regret the workout or waking up early for a workout. Like you just don't. And I think what I have to do is just make my body, right, just kind of get into these habits of continuing to do these. And then now it's going to become automatic. And now I would feel weird if that doesn't happen. So it's like my body is ready, it's used to, and, we got to get this stuff done. And then that's what essentially is going to push me through, all, say, 300 of these days. I think 305 days. Did we do this math already? I think we did. Here's what we're going to do here. Watch this. 300, we're going to do it live here. 329. We're going to multiply this by 300. I think it's 5. We're going to go 305. Maybe it's 304. Should be 100,000. 100,345. All right, that was a little too much. But so 304 days straight, essentially, of doing this. So now what I look for is to say, what is the 304th day of the month? It's October. Can y'all see that? No, you can't. It's too bright. It's October 31st. It's October 31st. 304th day of the year is Halloween. So maybe that's why this guy is there. But we're going to hit 100,000 burpees if we do these every day, which gave myself a couple days off. I never really thought about doing them consecutively, and I never really, I'm going to say, agreed to that, or, yeah. I mean, I never said I was going to do them every single day, but 3 days in, I feel good. I think it's going to happen when it gets to the first Saturday and then the Sunday on the days off from my normal routine, because I don't think I'm going to be waking up, or at least I'm not planning on waking up at 4 in the morning doing my workout at 4:30. I'm really not. But we'll see. All right, I did want to respond to this one comment here. Let me see if I can put this up on the screen. Here it is. All right. He says, bro, you must be starving and delusional if you think nobody will know. And now here's what he's talking about this video right here, which let's see if we can play it. See if I can play it here. Can I play on YouTube here? Boom. Oh, yeah, you can see this. All right, let's play this. Where is that? How do I play this?
Nobody's gonna know.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
How would they know?
Quit eating animals.
Okay. So, I mean, when you looked at that, like, that really looked like meat, right? And now that like turkey slices, like slices of processed meat, that's really what it looked like. Okay, now, and we're just talking sandwich meat. So I know for a fact that it really does replicate. And if you see it, if you and like you can, that can definitely get by as what we're used to. All right, which leads me into my next answer or the next question here, or his comment. If you weren't meant to eat meat, why do you keep making plants into meat? I don't make meat into plants. Laughing my ass off. All right. So, I mean, it's very simple. Right? There's a reason why we create, meat-looking dishes made with plants. It's because that's what we're used to. That is what we're absolutely used to eating. For over 30 years, I have eaten animals. I've eaten meat. I of course, like that is what I'm used to. So if you don't, that's what I enjoy. And so that's what I want to continue, right? You want to continue these things that you've been used to. And so there's absolutely a reason why, what changed? Why we try to make plants that look like meat. These are the dishes that we're used to, we're accustomed to eating, and they're delicious. Why wouldn't we want them to, continue to be delicious? And it's that simple. Spaghetti and meat sauce. I mean, this is a pure, I wanted on my birthday, every single birthday I wanted spaghetti and meatballs or spaghetti and meat sauce. Okay. Well, when you go vegan, when you quit eating animals, you can't have meatballs. You can't have meat sauce, but you can. It's just not made with animals, right? That's the only difference. And so if you get the texture right, and, the flavoring is whatever is seasoning with it, the sauce. I mean, think about spaghetti. Most of it is sauce. You don't actually taste the animals, right? You may, seem like you're chewing it and it tastes good, but you don't taste the animals. You're tasting, that you're feeling the texture, but it's mainly in the sauces and the spices and the pasta. And even the pasta, right? You're like, these are the reason why we add sauces and spices and seasonings to food. It's because food by itself really doesn't, essentially taste right. We want to flavor things up. They don't taste necessarily like anything. I mean, tofu, for example, is amazing on taking on any flavor that you want to soak it in, marinate it in. It absorbs seasonings and spices amazingly well. And so, right, that's the flavors. That's what we want to taste that is going to be delicious. It's not actually the animal flesh that you're, thinking is so delicious and so good. Then you'll have people that say, oh, steak tastes so good. And right. Okay. But you're right. We're eating like a piece of flesh of an animal. Right. And then just the whole thought and process behind how it's made, how it's prepared.
Nobody's going to know.
That's what we have to start thinking about. Now, once you do that, you start connecting with the animals. And then now you start bringing in, then this is what we're consuming. This is what we're putting into our bodies every single day.
Quit
You certainly don't want to be putting death and violence and torture and killing into our body and consuming it. And so even if you're not thinking about that, that's actually what's happened. That's actually what has happened and what is true in order for you to be consuming that. I mean, it's just the fact of the matter. And so I encourage you to really look in, really dive in, dig deep into looking more into this, right? Doing your own research. But that's the reason why we keep making plants into meat. And sure, you don't make meat look like plants because like that's not what you're used to doing. You're used to having, protein or a piece of steak and a baked potato. Okay. So being vegan, going plant-based is way, much more than that. right? Especially when you start like looking at all the different combinations of foods, all the different, I mean, there's just so many. There's so many cookbooks out there. There's YouTube recipes. There's everything that you possibly need. And there is out there on YouTube, on Google. You just Google it. You'll get it. And then whatever dish that you like the most, you type it in there and you put vegan version, plant-based version, plant-based spaghetti and meat sauce. Boom, you got a recipe. Plant-based steak. Boom, you got something, right? Explore, click, right? Go through. There's so many videos out there that you'd be like, what is that? What even is that? It looks delicious. I want it. You'll find out it's made made with all plants. It's amazing, right? It's open your mind up and be welcoming of this. I think so many people are just like, no, like this is, vegans or this and that. And like, no. And it's immediately no before you like even start to question, be like, maybe this is right. Maybe there's a lot of greatness that comes from eliminating animals from your diet, from consuming animals, from eating animals, right? That's the whole goal in this. And I think that's going to be the biggest change, the most simplest, very simple. It's a simple change. No animals, no animal products. Very simple. Don't get caught up in the details. I mean, but the concept is very simple. And then now we find out how to make plant-based dishes that are phenomenal. And you're going to get better and better and better and better and better. But I think a lot of people don't want to start over. You have to. I mean, actually, all the experience that you have in preparing these dishes, certainly helps you when you go plant-based. It certainly helps, right? You're learning how to prepare and cook, different types of things, right? Vegetables or plants or mushrooms or even fruit, right? Jackfruit, or, you learn how to cook these things or how to prepare these things, and it'll tell you, right? Just follow the recipes, follow the directions. Pretty simple. I mean, I'm a military guy, standard operating procedures. You have this, I do this next, do this. What I don't like about it, or just from my personal experience, I don't like measuring things exactly. I don't think there's a difference between a teaspoon and like, just a whatever, right? Like a boom. I mean, with like garlic powder, but to me, more the better. Okay. Like paprika, boom. Like, why does it have to be this little amount? Now, again, somebody, is making those recipes and those combinations of, because you don't want things to be overwhelming. I totally get that. But, around, if I find a way to just throw things in, because I don't want to overthink it. I think that's been my whole mentality. And that's where I need to get better. And by getting better, how do I get better? I, put reps into the kitchen, right? Practice cooking certain things. Even tonight, I'm going to see what I can do to help, cook a dish or learn how to do something more. I got this chopper. I was very intimidated to use this chopper. It's a Breville. It's going to make our life a whole lot faster, simpler, but it hasn't yet because it's intimidating, right? We don't want to use it, don't want to get it out, but man, it's like third, fourth time getting it out. Like, this thing is a beast, but I gotta, be mindful of it, right? And I'm going to say plan to use it accordingly. I can't just whip it out and just going to make it. So I think it's more of like a planned dish or planned things. And so that's where, if you get some of these good recipes, we can plan these recipes out. And, the more that you do them, the easier they become, as with everything. Just like these burpees I've been doing, man. I started doing these burpees. I came across the Burpees King and I started doing them. And, at first they were, pretty difficult, but man, I mean, done a lot so far. Did the 30 days of, and I don't actually know how many I ended up doing last year, but towards the end, just figured out a good number to be able to do consistently. Picked a goal. Goal became 100,000. and the amount of reps became 329. The reason, again, 329, if you heard this before, I'm going to continue to say it because I think it's a great number to share. And, people ask me, like, why 329 burpees? Right? I love to share with them because the average human, per se, average American, eats 329 pounds of meat a year. I mean, that's a lot. If you look at, like, what 300 pounds looks like, I know what 315 looks like on a barbell, right? To try to be able to clean that. I mean, that is a massive amount of weight, right? To try to be able to deadlift 300 and it's a 29 pounds off the floor. I mean, that's significant. That is a lot of weight, which I'm going to try to do this year. I think I was talking to buddy I work with, Frank, and he, deadlifting, 500 pounds. This guy's a beast. But I was explaining to him that I've never pulled 405 off the ground. I think I remember pulling 395, and I would jump right up to 405, and I never got it. And, one thing led to another, and then I've never been, deadlift heavy, try to work myself back up there. And not that I don't plan on it, but just haven't yet. And, so maybe to be a goal of mine, but I think right now, spending 31 minutes, 30 minutes of physical work of just doing the burpees every single day is fantastic. And I think adding more of that, complementary or supplementary work with the barbell, running, kettlebell swings, things of that nature is going to be fantastic. So I think I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to do the 329 and 329 burpees, and then add to it. And so we're just going to listen to our body, though. It's going to be a long, great year. And, we're 3 days in. So I'm not going to get overly zealous. I'm not going to be overly confident. And, I already pictured myself doing the 100,000 burpee. So envisioned it. It's going to happen. And so now it's just the game. I'm going to try to enjoy myself getting there. And so, I'm not going to look at it like a chore. I'm also going to look at it like it's going to be a huge, awareness, right? If you look at, like, why 329, when you come across it, it's like, man, 329 pounds of meat a year, right? Like, and then what's going to happen is, I think what immediately happens is that person has to be like, man, is that what I do? Because this is the average. And again, this goes to, like, consumption of pounds of, like, meat per se. And then this isn't including any waste, right? So this is like, if all the meat eaten, I know that doesn't happen. So I think it's a little over rounded. I think the number is high, but regardless, it's close, right? They use some sort of math in it, and they came up with 329 pounds of meat, of animal flesh, of that, like, of a year. I know what that looks like. I mean, that is huge. That is a huge amount. And, we're doing a burpee for every pound. One burpee equals a pound of meat. So I think that's cool. That's what we're doing. And I think that's going to, help open up their eyes to, like, what people do themselves. And then hopefully answer some questions on why they continue to do that. What purpose is it serving? And then people that say, like, wow, like, I need to eat animals. Well, no, you don't. And there's studies that show it if you're interested in that, right? You have real life documentation of people like me doing it. And so at the end of this 100,000, and, I think I'm going to continue to put things out there, put videos out there, because it is showing, it is, it is, people get come across, it's like, this is true. Like, this guy's sitting there, he's live doing this, right? It's like January 3rd, 2024. He just did burpees in the morning. And I think that that's important to come across. I think that's important to be able to know, to be the truth, right? Not hiding anything. I'm not, people would be like, oh, you're up there eating animals and eggs and bacon and doing all that. And Like, no, I'm not. So, let's be real and like just accept it as truth. So many people are just pushing this away as like it's not true. Oh, I switched cameras. Look at that. Okay, when I get good camera set up, that'll be pretty sweet. But right now we just got one. I'm actually selling my old camera, this one included. I'm going to sell this one. We got another camera coming, although I'm still debating whether we sell. I think I'm going to sell it, but we'll see. Got the Pocket 3 coming, and so that's going to be I think that's going to help increase the Burpee videos. If you haven't checked out the Burpee videos, go ahead. I do one every single day live workout. Takes me 30 minutes or so. So do them with me. Let's get pumped up. All right, what else? We've been on, let me see, 30 minutes so far, 31 minutes. Son's got practice today. We got practice. Let me see. Training's at 4:30. We're at Sports Spot today. Cool. All right, so we got some time. We got some time. All right, so I'm gonna answer. Let's keep going answering some of these questions. Where do I go to do that? YouTube Studio. Can I share this with you guys? Share this. There we go. Let's go to comments here. All right, look at that. All caught up on comments. Like, I've responded to everything at least once. Okay, we never responded to bro here, so we're going to take it right from the top. If you guys are following me here, you can look at it right from the top. Bro, you must be starving and delusional. That's that one video I showed you of, actually, and that was out. That was like a legit restaurant that did that. It wasn't even us. All right, so back to my response. I mean, there's a reason, right? This is what we're used to. If you've done something for so long, I mean, it becomes normal. It becomes, like you're used to it. It becomes a habit. Right? And this is what happens to everyone. This is why quit eating animals is so challenging. It is so difficult for most people because this is absolutely what you've been used to eating. You've been used to and conditioned to eat animals for over 30, well, for me, for over 30 years. But every day of your life, like as a child, of all your memories of all growing up, your brothers and sisters and your parents fed you on a spoon animals, right? Like it's normal. And again, I mean, if your definition of normal, right, it is. But when you really think about it, we're forcing our children to eat animals. But when you actually look at, like, do we have to? Why are we doing this? Do we have to? And we say have to, like, depending on where you are. But if you're watching this, you likely are go to a store. You have a grocery store that you go to that has plants or animals, right? No one is saying that you have to do it. But if we grow up, like, not even questioning it, if we grow up just like, that's just what we do. Like, that is what we do. And that's just what we're supposed to do. Well, like, why are we supposed to do that? Who said we're supposed to? And what happens right behind the scenes of all of that, right? Once you start going that path, it becomes simple. I think it becomes more simple. Okay. That's what I think. Becomes more simple. So that's my answer to bacon craving. But look at The name is Bacon Craving 3259. Bacon Craving. Another, maybe he just goes around, comments on a bunch of vegans' YouTube channel, but at the same time, there's reason why I think people, bacon is life. I've seen, shirts that say this. Bacon is, it's just a part of growing up. Everybody has bacon, essentially, right? Unless, religion purposes. But if you grew up, I'm gonna say in the U.S. and around, in the U.S., you likely you eat animals. I mean, that's the bottom line. Unless you were influenced, if your family was vegan, but it's really, there's not many people. This is just now starting. You're now having families that are raising, their children vegan or more on a plant-based diet, and then teaching, their family or teaching their children about, animals and why we don't eat them, and then actually giving them the choice, right, if they want to eat animals or not. But I think one of the most important parts of all this is understanding that you do not need to eat animals to be strong and healthy. You just don't. Somebody said, oh, you need to supplement artificially, like, in order to be healthy. Like, okay, let's say that's the case. I don't think it's true. I don't think that that's the case. I don't think you need to supplement at all. I encourage people to do their research, do the information. We supplement with a B12 gummy, but that is the only supplement. And then also I would say a vegan protein. I've now started to supplement my foods with, but those are the two only things that essentially our family supplements with, if you want to call those supplements, right? B12 supplement, and we have, vegan protein supplement, right? Mixed with water or whatever, and, help getting more protein into our, especially now as I start to lift and start to work out more, right? Want to increase our protein, but supplement wise, that's really the only two things. And I encourage everyone, I think B12 recommendation is even for every human, regardless whether you eat animals or not, recommends a B12 supplement. I do think a lot of foods that we eat already are fortified with B12 in them. A lot of plant foods are. But so do your research on the supplements, but let's even say that that's the case. And, there's a couple pills or gummies or whatever that you take that make you perfectly healthy and strong and normal, and yet you don't have to eat any animals. Like, well, why isn't that the choice? Why isn't that the option that most people choose? And you're going to sit there and be like, well, it's not optimal. It's not. Like, what? Like, you can tell me that, you can feel the difference between, an artificial vitamin C and like an actual, orange vitamin C of like what your body's doing to it. Like, okay, maybe you do. But again, if you're talking about killing animals, and if it's, minimal difference, right? If you seem to be, everything seems to be fine, and it's not linked to this, say, vitamin C or vitamin deficiency, which, I don't think it will be, right? You can be strong and healthy without eating any animals. I mean, I don't know how people are still kind of wrapped around this. It is hard pill to swallow, I think, for most, especially if you were taught to do this, or if taught it was the right thing, or taught that you needed to, but it's just not. It is just not. All right, let's keep answering some of these questions. All right. Okay, I'm looking for any responses that I'm not here. Watch this one. Responses with new replies. Okay, look at this. Yeah, right. He said, grow up. He says to me, grow up. I've eaten animals for 30 years. Einstein killed himself. Okay. Here's a question for Yeah Right. Why have you not gone vegan yet? I think you guys, feel free to answer this one. Jump right in here and answer this question right here. I'm gonna ask this one a lot. Why are you not vegan yet? And I think everybody should answer that. Everybody should really answer that and find out how and what their answer is, right? If that was an interview question for you, an interview, not like for a job or anything, but just an interview question, what would you say? How would you answer that? Why are you not vegan yet? I think everyone should get very, very good at answering that. I think here's what's going to happen. Here's what happens when you become very good at answering that. You find out that you don't actually have a very good answer. You don't. And it just doesn't feel good to not have a good, solid answer unless you really, truly believe it. And I'm sure there's people out there that really, truly believe in their answer and, why they are doing it. But I think most people, right off the bat, it won't sound good. It won't sound good at all. It won't feel good. And it makes more sense. I mean, to me, it's a lot simpler just to align and just, the path of least resistance is to not eat animals. I mean, that's really to try to justify and twist and really, you look at an animal and you're like, yeah, just kill that animal. Like, why? Like, you got to eat it. But you don't have to. You can have those plants over there instead. That whole, you can eat those things. Yeah, but bacon, or like just some answer that's just not, it doesn't make sense when you really try to dig in to the root, no pun intended here, but the root cause, the root of the answer, right? Why do we eat animals? And people are hung up in saying that you need to, or that we've always done it. And there's just so many answers. Like, just because we've always done it doesn't mean that we must, or it's the right thing or a good thing to continue to do. We have to constantly evaluate this. You have to constantly look at, our actions, right? Our decisions, what's actually happening, what's it contributing to, and then you got to make some choices. But I think this choice seems to be the least, the option of least resistance, right? I mean, it seems to be the default choice of like, oh, like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, why am I doing that? All right. But anyway, Yeah Right. So, why isn't Yeah Right gone vegan yet? Oh, this is a good one. Look at this. I think that, oh, look, I got a small here. Can I move this over? We're going to see all of this one. And then I'm going to, yep. And then now I'm going to shrink me here just so we can see all of this. His whole answer we're going to be responding to. This will be a good one. Can you see it all? You can see it all. All right. All right. Let's see here. So look at this. This guy. Can I read this here? Quit eating animals. His name is Aaron Walker, 8798. What's up, Aaron? Okay, he says, I have a very physical man job. Okay, so I know where this is going. Your kale may be okay for sitting behind a keyboard, but men need to get the heavy work done. Okay. Protein in dense amounts is what enables that. If I ate enough vegetables to get that much protein, I'd be in the shitter all day. So when you go live and work outside of a man-made structure, I'll quit eating meat. Go ahead. I see you are scared. I absolutely know you got that COVID vaccine. Climate change is real, but man has very little effect on it. Check with your favorite climatologist that doesn't operate on a federal grant. Bill Gates and others think you should be eliminated. Not eating meat is just a compromise until the effects of the vaccine accomplish their intended goal. So you can be a sheep. Oh, that's a sheep. I, on the other hand, am going to enjoy my life and realize that man cannot even control a weather system, never mind the climate of the whole planet. What you really need to be concerned about doesn't even enter your mind. You are too busy being distracted by what the propaganda machines have told you to think about. Use your eyes, have your own thoughts, and for God's sake, learn to question everything. Until then, you can go get your booster and eat some wood pulp. P.S. It's cheaper if you eat the paper version. My man Aaron Walker had a lot to say 2 days ago. All right, Aaron. Well, I apologize. I didn't get back to you sooner, but let's talk about this, and let's break down each of these comments that he wrote here. He has a very physical man job. Well, Aaron, what kind of man job is it? And I think that that's important to understand and know. And I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. Oh, I know. His next comment. Your kale may be okay for sitting behind a keyboard, but men need to get the heavy work done. So, I don't think this is a orientation type deal. I think everyone needs to get work done. Everybody should be capable of lifting things, of moving around, of being active. And, I can assure you that the kale is now, if you just eat kale alone, not good. But you eat a variety of plants, a variety of plant sources, you're going to be sustained. You're going to have all the protein you need. Okay? Look, protein in dense amounts is what enables that. If I ate enough vegetables to get that much protein, I'd be in the shitter all day. First of all, plants have fiber, and all plants have protein. I mean, protein, you get enough protein, and you will get enough protein as long as you eat. As long as you consume food and you're not, on any type of eating disorder and you're not being starved, as long as you're eating, right, you're getting enough protein. Protein is not a thing in nourished, children in the United States. It's just not a thing. Now, if they're, punishing children and then not giving them dinner and withholding food and right, like that may be one thing. But if we're eating, if a normal human being is eating, getting enough protein, promise you, whether you're eating all plants, or all meat and plants, I mean, doesn't matter. But as long as you're eating, you're getting enough protein. So to get that much protein, you're being the shitter. That's number one. That's not true, right? But maybe when you first start off, if your body's not adjusted to that much fiber, yeah, it might. So wean yourself on the vegetables, right? Don't go, all in, right? Wean yourself and go that route. There's no, I'm gonna say right or wrong way to do this, but I think the wrong way to do it is to not listen to it or just dismiss it before you even have a chance to process it. So, and this is what I think this did, just came across this and wow, this vegan, weak and I'm a man, I need meat. Like, this is so old school thinking, and it's just not true. It's what we were taught, beef, it's what's for dinner, right? Like, and steak is essentially, to me, like a male dominated thing, right? Like, steakhouse, male, and that's just what people have, I'm going to say, think to be the truth of like success, right? Like going to a steakhouse, and they're very expensive. And, but this is what the mindset is that it's masculine and it's success, and it's not necessary. That's really the facts of it. And so when you go live outside of a man-made structure, I'll quit eating meat. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. Living where we live and whatever, right? If maybe this is what he's trying to say. If you live in a cave or something, sure, you want to hunt and that's the only source of food that you have, like, go ahead. But you're not doing that. Nobody is. No one is. All right, if say, go ahead. I see you scared. I'm not scared, my man. I absolutely know you put that COVID vaccine. Nope. No vaccine. Climate change is real, but man has very little effect on it. Check with your favorite climatologist. Doesn't adequate federal grant. Like, okay, I think every society or every group is funded by a certain amount of people or certain people that have certain beliefs or certain goals or visions or and yeah, like you got to get your money or support from somewhere. Federal grant, right? Government. I mean, look at the dairy industry. Look at the agricultural animal agricultural industry. Look at all these grants. Look at all these federal grants, and look at all the money that's poured into these industries. It's mind-boggling and subsidized, right? Like, so of course it has an effect, and it really comes down to money. But break all that, like keep all that outside, and don't think, and just worry about what we're doing, right? What you're doing specifically, and what you're buying, and what your money's going towards, and what you're contributing to, right? Like, what influence do we have? We absolutely have an influence, I say, on climate change, on just the animals' lives themselves, right? If you no longer purchase any animals, right, more animals will live. The whole supply and demand thing is absolutely real. If we're not demanding it, if we're not purchasing any animals, they're not going to, there's no money in there. They're going to spend their money elsewhere. They're going to spend their money in plant-based versions. But our whole goal is to quit eating animals. It's that simple. So let's not contribute to buying animals, right? Let's not contribute to killing animals by buying things that contribute to killing animals. It's pretty simple. The whole mindset is very simple. It's a simple switch. It's a simple mindset shift. It's a simple change that I think more people need to kind of just take this on, man. Like, learn, take these 3 words and really think about it, dwell on it, right? I know it's early in the year. You can make the change. You can make the change at any meal, right? And that's the beautiful part about this is you can try this at any time. Nobody is stopping you. You purchase, or you get to decide what your money goes towards. And to me, I think the option is very simple. I don't want my money to go towards killing animals, right? And if you look, and if you believe that that's, that you need to, you really need to look into, like, really, do we need to? That's what I've done. And then not even listening to anybody else. Let's just figure out, like, is it possible for me? So many people said that they tried it and they ran into all these issues. I'm going to say that, like, you probably didn't try it enough, or you didn't try it long enough, or you didn't try it in the variety of different ways to make it sustainable. Okay. So everyone kind of like works out, even if you work out for like 6 months, right? But if you don't sustain that, if you don't find a way to be able to do that every single day, it's going to be up and down. You're not going to be successful at continuing this on. And that's really why I'm going to say it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle because now essentially there's not so many options out there, because I'm going to say it's not going to be healthy if you eat a bunch of processed plant foods. Sure, like there are, whole food plant options, fast food-ish places out there, but you got to learn how to make this. You got to learn how to make this stuff. You got to learn. Look at my camera switched again. Where'd my camera go? Boom. There's the camera. You got to learn how to make this food. You got to learn. You got to practice. And this is where you're going to get the best dishes, because you're not going to find a restaurant that has all of these things. So the only way that you're going to be able to try and taste these things if you make them yourself, right? But so that's why you need to get good at it and get comfortable in the kitchen, find out what you need, and right, just continue to build on this. This is an exciting journey. It's a fantastic one. Bring your whole family on board. Get them in the kitchen, get them cooking different things, get them buying different vegetables, trying different things, trying different foods. Have fun with this, right? But this is how you make it sustainable. Tie back in with the animals. Why are we doing it? We don't want to kill animals. Like, nobody wants to kill animals. And then if you say you don't have to eat it, you don't have to. You can be strong and healthy without eating death and violence. Who wants to eat death and violence? Not me. Not me. And so I feel a lot better now that I've stopped eating death and violence, for sure. I mean, that's a fact. All right, we're going on 56. Oh, we didn't continue to answer this. So we gotta continue to answer these. All right, Bill Gates and others think you should be eliminated. Not eating meat is just a compromise until the effects of the vaccine accomplish their intent. I'm not sure what that means. So you could be a sheep. I think people who eat animals are all like, just, it's just what we're supposed to be doing. So I look at him being like calling us sheep, or I'm going to say people that in this case took the vaccine or not. I'm talking about eating animals or not. If you eat animals, I think that's the sheep mentality. That's like, we've always been doing it. We've always been doing it, and you need it. And we've always been doing it, So it's like, that's the answer that people have. And I think that's more of the sheep mentality, right? You go into this, you don't challenge it, you'd be like, well, why? You're just a sheep. You just go with the flow. You're just like everyone else doing it. Just like that elevator study, right? When they had a whole bunch of people in the elevator, they all walked in, they're all facing the wrong way. Like, slowly they people felt uncomfortable, and they either switched ways, of how they were standing, even though it was kind of against what they normally thought to be the case, right? They kind of conformed with everybody else. This is exactly what I think happens, with eating animals, right? We're in this whole society, this carnistic society of like, it's just normal to eat animals, and it's necessary, like, question mark, and you kind of make it this like, is it not? Like, but it is. Like, I was always taught you needed it, but then I see all these other people that aren't doing it, but yet they're living, and they're like 97 without eating any animals, 100 without eating any animals. Wow, this person is like super strong and a bodybuilder, and he's vegan, and she's vegan, and all of these people are vegan, and wow, 30 years here, 70 years here, I'm 7 years here. So, I for sure started earlier. The timing is different for everybody, but it's never too late. I do know that. It is never too late to just be like, nah, like, no, man, you still got a lot left. And just from a mindset standpoint, it really makes a difference, because if deep down, if that killing animals and contributing to slaughterhouses, which is what's happening when, that's what's happening when you buy this stuff, making this stuff all go round and continuing that whole process for the animals go through. That's right. If you think that is the wrong thing, like that is not good, you do not want to contribute to that. I mean, the choice is very simple. The choice is easy. If you think that is the case, if that is true, if you do not want to contribute to that, the choice is simple. There's 3 words that will absolutely help with that. And it'd be fun. You learn things, you find different foods, you get in the kitchen, you learn a whole bunch of things. Man, I keep touching this stuff. I gotta find a better spot for this. All right, I think I digress. We're just coming up on an hour, so I appreciate you guys sticking around for this. This is, I think this has been a good talk so far. I hope you get a lot of value out of this. If you are, let me see it in the comments. If you got questions, let me know in the comments. All right, so he's going to enjoy the life and control the weather system. You can't control nature. I mean, the weather is absolutely, definitely can't control it. But what I do know is people way more smarter than I am have found that animal agriculture is one of the leading drivers of climate change and these emissions. And how can you possibly have billions of animals, over 90 billion animals killed for food? I mean, where do you think all of their waste goes, right? It has to go somewhere. And I mean, it is an enormous, you can't imagine how many animals that is, right? It's not, you can't really comprehend it, especially if you, and what makes it very more difficult to really comprehend, each one of those animals is an individual, different personality, a different individual, just like our dogs. Our dogs have different personalities. They are certainly different, and they understand that they, are aware of, and they are in this world, and they certainly, act like it, right? And they have emotions, and right, like it doesn't make sense for us to kill billions of animals. And at least I'm not going to be part of that. I don't want to be part of that. And I think the best part of all of this is, I'm going to say we figured it out. We put it together and understood that this was happening. And then, how do we not, what is the best thing that we can do, or the most practical, reasonable thing that we can do in order to help this and do, I'm going to say as least amount of possible, but have the most impact. And it's to quit eating animals. I guarantee you that. I absolutely guarantee you that. And it will absolutely change your life. It will change your life, and it will start with your mind. It really does. This is a mental thing. Before we get to the health, before we even get to the animals, I think just knowing of killing the animals when it's unnecessary and consuming that, I think it really bothers us, right? I think there's no human that I don't think it bothers, unless you're kind of just born differently. But then even then, if you say no to this answer right now, I think, you're conditioned that way. And I think you've convinced yourself that to be the case, but we're not born like this. We're not born to want to kill animals. We're not born to even want to eat animals, right? If you put animals in front, right, you're not. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. And I mean, it's not good. Okay. So we need to really think about this. And I think it'll have the biggest impact, not only on your life, but the animals' lives as well. All right, guys, I've been over for an hour now. Did I get to? I didn't finish answering them. What you really need to be concerned about doesn't even enter your mind. You're too busy distracted with the propaganda machines have told you about. Okay, use your eyes, have your own thoughts. I mean, this is exactly how we ended up to quit eating animals. We used our eyes, we used our thoughts, right? Used our hearts, and realized no, I don't feel good eating that. I don't feel good eating that at all. And you can't either. I mean, I know that we're addicted to that, right? I know, Burger King, fast food, it's addicting. Same thing with sugar and all. I mean, I know that things are addicting, and we create these habits, and we create these things around that we do every single day, and that's eat them. And that is eat them. So I get it. It is certainly, it is all around us. Okay. But if you think about it, think about why you're eating them. Just ask yourself why you're eating them, and then dig deeper, right? Dig deeper into those questions. Why specifically are you? And then ask why to that question. Well, we've always been doing that. Okay. Well, what are some other things that we've always been doing that maybe weren't necessarily the right things or the good things to be doing? You'll come up with a lot of answers. Okay. But I think if you continue to ask yourself why, and you continue to understand that you absolutely can be strong and healthy without eating any animals, the choice now becomes very simple, and it becomes a fun journey. And I encourage every single one of you to look deep into that journey. I really do. I really do. Okay. So it's, yes, use your own thoughts and learn to question everything. Question it. I mean, he says it right here. Question it. I mean, question everything. I really that's how we ended up vegan. That's how we ended up quit eating animals. We questioned a lot, and we still question it. We question it like, is it the right thing? I mean, it's good to challenge where you're at. It's good to, continue to challenge where you're at. Continue to look at course correct, adjust, right? There was things that we were doing that essentially we took out of play. They weren't good for our lives, right? We adjusted course. You make a movement, make an adjustment. You don't have to be significant. In this one, I think this is it is a very significant change, but it's a small, minor change of taking your animal protein or the animals you currently eat and making a plant-based option and plant-based version. I mean, it's really that simple. Now, it's hard because you're not used to it, right? Where do you get these foods? How do I make these foods? How do they prepare? They don't feel as good, right? I get all that, but it just takes one day at a time. One day at a time, you continue to practice. You continue to get better. You continue to make better foods. It becomes easier. It becomes faster. I mean, this is how you get better, but you got to start. You got to start. I mean, that's what the hardest thing to do is starting. So start and then adjust, course correct. I don't like this, adjust. I don't like that, adjust. Try this. I don't like that, adjust. Continue to adjust, but continue to that North Star. And that North Star is to the elimination or complete, elimination of all animals and their products. So question everything. Until then, get your booster. Go get your booster and eat some wood pulp. All right. So hopefully that answers Aaron Walker's question or comment there. Not everybody gets a video response to their comment, but Aaron Walker deserves one. He deserves one. Okay. Where are we at now? Can I keep going? How much time we got? I think I'm going to have to go soon. We got practice coming up. But I thought today was a great day. Thought today was a very great day. Spent an hour here, episode 48, Quit Eating Animals show. We are 3 days into our 100,000 burpees, our 329 burpees a day. That's going fantastic. So yeah, that's actually what's going on. So now, bringing Trey to practice and getting ready for tomorrow. So 329 burpees tomorrow, 4:30-ish a.m. And we'll keep it going. Keep it going to 100,000. All right, guys, let me know if you got any questions or comments. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Have a great day.